Good morning, everyone. How are you? Welcome to True North. I'm Renata Marino. I'm so excited to be here. How's everybody? Today's Wednesday. Wow, I have a really great topic today to talk about that I hope can resonate with everyone. The topic is on love. Love and forgiveness, but specifically love. And I've been thinking about this for a couple days, for a while. I think we all have at some degree. But I wanted to share my thoughts based on my story, my past, and some introspection that I did last week when I was on vacation. I did take some notes so I can stay focused. It's an emotional topic for me, so I'm sure I'm going to break down, but I'll hold it together for everybody. But this is a really great topic. I think I know I've done some research on COVID and what happened with COVID when we were trapped inside and limited on moving and traveling and going out, and a lot of relationships ended during COVID because people had to actually stay inside their house with each other. And actually I don't even want to talk about this. There was a lot domestic violence went up, unfortunately. And I know this because I've researched this. But most importantly, I think many of us started evaluating our relationships and the quality of our relationships. And quite honestly, maybe started evaluating our life goals, who we want to share our life with, what we want in our relationships, not just intimate partners, but also friendships, and what's important to us, our values. So we really were forced into some deep introspection. And I know I was. I was already doing that prior to that, but I think it sped up the process. And I've talked to a lot of people who've gone through this. And a lot of it was just the inevitable just exploding because it was almost emphasized and forced. Because a lot of us are in relationships and we come and go like ship sailing in the night, like roommates. And when you're stuck inside with someone, you start really realizing, do I want to spend the rest of my life living like this? So over the past week, last week, and then the past couple of days, and just in general, I've been thinking a lot about myself, my life, the relationships I've been in, my marriage, my 15-year marriage, what I want to teach my kids about relationships, showing them on how a healthy relationship should be. And then even through my healing journey, healing a lot of the wounds from my childhood, from my past, and just observing other people who are in healthy relationships and who've been through the storm. What does it mean to have a healthy relationship, and what does it mean to love someone, to show love and to be love? And that's the things I was thinking about last week, and really doing some deep thinking and feeling. But one of the things, this is what I believe, and I didn't really know this until now, it was a wake-up call for me. And I hope that more people will listen to this podcast, younger generations, and can really hear my words. And maybe they're raised this way or maybe they're not, but really listen to my words so that they don't have to go through such a big storm that most of us, including myself, have gone through. I can help you guys avoid some of the big storms. Maybe we all go through some level of storms through our life, but if I can help you avoid some of it, or think strategically, or think through some of your decisions, I'm hoping this will help. So in order for us to enter a relationship with someone, an intimate, romantic partner relationship, we can't really do that until we pour love into. You can't give love until you pour love into yourself. And this is coming from someone who observed my mother always self-sacrificing for the family, for the kids, and literally putting herself last. And a lot of women do this. A lot of women feel like showing love, maybe in the Mediterranean, Latin cultures, that serving the man and self-sacrificing and the family comes first and the man comes first. It's not that it was verbally taught, but it was shown. So we have to realize something, that whatever you see in your home, you're most likely going to be mirroring that activity or being pulled or attracted to those types of relationships. So, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just being able to recognize that. So in my case, self-sacrificing for love was how it was modeled for me, that that's what you're supposed to do. It means they're going to love you more. They're not. Some men or whoever your partner is may appreciate it, but you become resentful if you're not pouring the self-love, self-care, taking care of yourself first, so you could have plenty to give to others. Because if you are self-sacrificing yourself and giving and doing, you're going to become depleted and you're not going to be able to give so much love to people. So really having the self-discipline to set up a protocol on a daily basis to pour love into yourself. Like, for example, I went on vacation last week by myself. Whatever. I was spending time alone and reading, going in the ocean, spending time in my favorite place, soaking in the sun. It was great. Whatever that means to you, exercising, eating healthy, buying myself flowers every day or every week, reading, doing this. It's joy for me. And when I'm happy and doing things I love, then I can be there for my partner. I can be there for my kids. I can be there for my community. And as a leader, we can't lead unless we are full of taking care of ourselves. And if that means getting up at 4 a.m, that means getting up at 4 a.m. It's funny if people are like, how could you be doing this venture capital thing? You're writing a book and now you're doing this podcast. We get up early and you're working out and you're a single mom. We get up early. You need to be self-disciplined and going to bed early, getting up early to be able to fit the things in your life that you love and that you feel fulfilled with. So anyway, the first step before you can actually enter a really healthy relationship, to be able to give love to someone else, is to feel love for yourself. Because I think a lot of us, and especially in the movies and out in society and on Instagram and all on social media, the way it's been and the way we were raised is that your partner is supposed to fill a void. Like, it's like the Jerry Maguire, like, you complete me. No, you complete yourself. You come to the relationship whole, and you guys are equal partners. You're there to share your life together. You're shared to inspire each other to be better people, but you come to the table whole. You don't rely on someone else to fill a void, because you're going to become resentful and they're not going to give you what you should be giving yourself. It really is a major problem and a demise in relationships in the world today, is that when you rely on someone else to fill a void. The other thing, so when you can find things, daily things that, for example, if you had a bad meeting or if you had a bad day, you can talk to your partner about it, but and they can help you with it. But if you need to go for a walk, you need to go meditate, you need to go to the spa, you need to take care and handle that, so that when you're talking with the person, you can still talk about what happened, but you're not disgruntled, or you're not relying on them. Well, why don't you make me a meal, or why don't you do this, and why don't you what? They would probably want to. It's a give and take, but you really need to be able to handle it on your own. You can't rely on them to actually fill that void. The other thing that I thought about this morning when I was thinking about my outline, which I have here, is I'm going to tell you guys this because coming from my past, healing a lot of the hurt from my past, my childhood, my marriage, it's been a slow process because it was very deep. The hurt was very deep. It went all the way back, probably generation upon generation. And because let's put it this way, because I'm a perfectionist and I have high standards for myself, I hold myself to very high standards. And I this is very important. I also hold other people in my life with high standards. I hold them to the highest standards. And I'm going to tell you this quite honestly is in the past, I lowered my standards because no one could meet me where I'm at. And it's not a snobby elitist thing. It's just, I was in the wrong circle. I was in the wrong circle because since I've distanced myself from that circle, I've opened up space to so many other people that inspire me to be better, that really live their life just like I live my life, with high standards and caring about the same things I care about in terms of goodness, kindness, health, physical health, what we put in our bodies, how we act with others, how we treat others, and doing the personal growth and the work, and being vulnerable and being mature about addressing the things that were unresolved in our life. I've found a group of people that inspire me, that are like me. And I think what happens sometimes is we get caught up in the wrong group and the wrong community, and we lower our standards so we can be accepted and fit in. And unfortunately, that gets us in a precarious position where we start feeling bad about ourselves, and we start turning to things that maybe aren't healthy for us. And our mental health starts weakening, our emotional health starts weakening, our physical health starts weakening, and then our behavior starts weakening. So it's really, really important to surround yourself with people that inspire you. And this is where you meet your partner, because typically they're going to be in the same circle that you're in. So one of the things I recognize, as I mentioned, I'm this aspiring perfectionist. Let's call it that way. I love that term. Is thinking that that when couples come together, that each individual couple needs to be 100% healed from past trauma, childhood wounds, or whatever happened in your past, and that you can't come to the table with a healthy relationship until you're 100% healed. That is incorrect. That's what I've been thinking about the past couple of years. That's incorrect. This is the thing, and I thought about this morning on my car ride to the gym. There's a certain percentage of healed state and it's different for everyone, okay? There's a certain percentage of healed state that we need to get to before, and a certain percentage of self-love and investing ourselves that we need to get to before it's healthy to enter in a healthy relationship, or any intimate partner relationship, or even like professional relationship. But it's personal growth, but there's a certain level of, and whatever that percentage is for you, is it 50% healed and you've got like 50% left more? And I think it also depends on the tolerance of the other person and their other person's willingness to work with you, what their tolerance level is. So like, are you 50% healed? Like you feel like you're vulnerable, you're able to express yourself, whatever that is for you, or is it 75% and you got 25 left? So, because bottom line is I think we're never going to be fully healed till the end of our life. And this is a terrible thing to say, knock on wood. But I think it's almost like an aha moment that I had about my life the past couple of days is this. We need to be willing to continue to heal, and individually on our own. Okay. We need to be able to acknowledge that there's some things that are unresolved in our life that we have to work on. For example, maybe there's some triggers that happen for you that you react to, and you need to go to your toolbox and figure out what are those things that are going to make you calm down, make you centered. Is it a walk in nature? Is it working out? Is it eating healthier? Is it drinking more water? Whatever it physically is, it going to the spa? Is it whatever it is? Is it meditating? Is it doing ice cold baths? Like, what's in your toolbox that works for you? Because everybody's different. And, you need to have the self-discipline to be able to address those triggers and go to your toolbox and access the things that work for you to get yourself grounded and centered again. I mean, I'm working on it. I'm not perfect. And trust me on this. It's really hard for me, especially the past couple of days. It's really hard for me. And this is very therapeutic for me to talk it through. So thank you for listening. So like I mentioned before, when you meet someone or when you come together with a partner, you need to be open with the person on, hey, I know a lot of stuff went on in my childhood. I've done a lot of personal growth and self introspection. I've been working on it. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to a therapist. I'm going to like whatever. And these are my triggers. So one of the things I wrote down here is triggers and your childhood trauma is a love language. And what I mean by that is you have to be willing to tell your partner what are your childhood traumas, what things hurt you, what you've been working on, how much have you healed that, how much more do you think you have to go, and the other person has to be willing to listen, and the other person has to be willing to say, okay, I'm willing to work with you because here are my traumas, here are my triggers, this is what upsets me, this is what triggers me. These are my insecurities. And so both people need to be able to acknowledge their own individual traumas and triggers. And they both have to be able to be tolerant or it's not accepting. It's more like understanding. And this is the thing though. This is the hiccup where relationships go sour. And what happened to me? Okay, I'm going to be really specific. Is in my marriage, I was addressing what was upsetting me and asking for change from the other person. And the other person wasn't willing to change and was blaming me for all their issues. So that's the issue. And so what I was doing was just continuing. Then as I continued to kept asking and asking and asking, and the person, my former husband, wasn't willing to do the work, not together in the marriage, but in his own issues. What happened with me, I'm just being very honest, is I just started accepting the behavior. Because I'm married, nobody really gets divorced. I'm Catholic, I guess this is how it is. So you stay in it. But then what happens is your self-esteem is depleted, your self-worth is depleted. You are literally running on empty with no gasoline left, and you almost could be admitted to the hospital, get very sick. And so when the other person isn't willing to do the work individually, you will be left, you will die. So listen carefully. Both people need to be willing to be vulnerable with one another. Both people need to be willing to admit their childhood trauma and their triggers. Both people have to be willing to do the work to improve and to get better. Both people have to be willing and understanding and sensitive to the other person's triggers and traumas. For example, if you're dating someone and you have a conversation with another man, in my case, like if I'm talking to another man and your partner gets very jealous and overreacts, how do you, the female, how do you handle that? What if they overreact in public? How do you manage that? Do you want to create a scene, but you're embarrassed, right? So how do you handle that? And how do you handle it at the time? And how do you handle it at home? And what can't happen is you approach the person and say, hey, I'm just talking to him. It's just a conversation, or like privately. And I'm just doing an example, needs to not react, explode. He needs to be like, I'm sorry, it's because of this. I was abandoned as a kid or whatever it is. And I feel like you're going to cheat on me. That conversation needs to happen way in the beginning, because you need to know what his triggers are. And if it's you talking to another man, you need to make your partner feel very comfortable that you're just talking to another, like, we're going to this event. I'm going to be talking to a lot of people. You need to be comfortable with me talking to other people. I don't want to sleep with the other person. I don't want to be with the other person. You need to trust me. It's a trust thing. And so the other person, like me, needs to make sure that other person feels secure in the relationship, that you're not going to leave them. So it's a two-way street. That's just an example. Okay. So yeah, that's what I was saying before and I want to end on this, and then we'll do cards. No, and then I'll talk about what I want to talk about tomorrow. So this is the thing, guys, is that in a relationship, if one person's the only person that's the understanding one, the only person who's compromising, and it's not really compromising, but just being empathetic and understanding, and the other person is not, the other person could be saying, you know what, I'm sorry, it was a trigger. I didn't mean to treat you like that. I didn't mean to explode. And you're like, okay, then let's work on it. If that behavior continues to happen over and over and over again, you will become depleted. So, and this is what happens in relationships. So when I'm talking about love needs to be, both people need to show that they're working and they're trying. And I think that's a form of love. When you see the person really trying, both people give and take, that's how you show love for someone. When you know someone's trigger, like they get jealous, and you know what would be so beautiful? This would be so beautiful. If you know someone's trigger is jealousy, and you already had the conversation, you're like, we're going to this event, and you start talking to a man. This is what I would do. Before, if I knew I was going to have a conversation, I would make sure I check in with my partner throughout the night. This is called sensitivity and understanding and caring and love. Because I would know that that's a trigger for him, I would check in with my partner throughout the night, and I would say, how's everything? How do you feel? Like, I would check in to make them feel like they're the number one. That's what you should do if you know that's a trigger. Now, if it's not a trigger, I don't need to go check in with you. So like in my marriage, that was not a trigger for him. He knew he trusted me, like from the beginning, because we knew each other before as friends. So, we'd go to a party and he wouldn't see me the whole time. Maybe he would check in with me, or I would go, but there was no like, oh, I need to find him and make sure he knows I'm not like with somebody else. Or there was none of that. It was actually, I think that's one of the major reasons that, and he's very reliable, extreme, even as a co-parent. Oh my God, so reliable, and you can count on him. Reliability and trust were those are my two prerequisites in a relationship. No relationships, but those were my two must-haves. There's more must-haves now, obviously, but reliability, and credibility, credibility, and trust. So it was beautiful for me, because I think in the past I dated these guys who were like, where are you? Who are you talking to? And it felt stifling, and it felt claustrophobic. And I'm like, I just can't have fun. I can't. So when I met him and it was like that, I felt so free, and I could be myself, and I miss that. And now I'm like that now. So any future partner is got to be somebody who trusts me and doesn't think I'm going to, whatever. And but the whole point is, if you discuss up front, what are the other person's triggers? It's that love language, knowing someone else's trigger, and you're sensitive and you love the person, you will go out of your way to make sure that they're comfortable. And they need to do the same for you. If your trigger is, I'm trying to think what my trigger is. Mistreatment. If somebody explodes to me because of my marriage, because that's what happened. It's trauma. It's a PTSD. It's PTSD, and also my childhood, just explosions. If someone does that, it's a major trigger for me. It's a major trigger for me. And so I don't know how that would be. The other person can't do that to me. Yeah. Overreaction. It's like yelling, yelling. It's like a violence, yelling, explosions. It's a PTSD for me. I can't handle that. I need like a calm, like you need to be calm. So, because that's like abuse for me. It's abuse. It's verbal abuse. I can't do it. But anyway, the whole point is I've been thinking about this the past couple days. Both people have to be willing to be vulnerable, have to be willing to discuss their childhood traumas, their triggers. Both people have to be sensitive to the other person's triggers. It has to be an equal give and take. It cannot be one-sided because it's going to turn to abuse again, and it's going to turn to an uneven relationship where one person is being tolerant of the other person's behavior, and it's going to deplete the other person. And this is coming from someone who's already been through it, so I don't want to go through it again. So coming together with somebody who loves you, who respects you, your love language is, some of the things that bother them, and you're sensitive to that. I think that's a very mature relationship. I think that starts off as a very healthy relationship. And it's really about open communication between both people. I mean, that's really what it's about, guys. And when it's one-sided, it just doesn't work. It's not healthy for the other person. It's not healthy for both people. Anyway, someone said this on Twitter, and I want to mention this. And I did say this. I don't know where I said it. I think I said it on Twitter. This is right when I remember I was standing in line in Mexico at Puerto Vallarta, checking in. Line was so long for COVID, and they handled it. It was a mess. By the way, the way they handle getting back to the United States at some of these like Latin countries, I mean, come on. It was like a free for all. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what line to stand in. It was like 2 hours. I go, the ladies, all these Americans are like, or Canadians, Americans are like, which line? I'm like, I don't know. I said, I'm just going to stand this line. It looks like a good line. I didn't know. I'm like, what app do I need to do to like submit my test results? Knock on wood, it was negative. But anyway, I was standing in line and I was crying. I was standing, I'm going to start crying again. I was standing in the line with my mask, and it was getting drenched because all the tears were like seeping into the medical mask. And this older woman was by herself, and she was like staring at me. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to say something. She's going to say something. She's going to say something. And she's like, are you okay? I'm going to start crying now. I'm like, yes, thank you for asking. I'm like, I'm just having a really bad day. It's okay. I'm going to get through this. But if you're standing in line for 2 hours, of course you're going to have some introspection. I thought about my whole week. I thought about stuff. I just was like, I thought about my life. I thought about past hurt. It was a hard line to stand in. She was the only one that noticed. Everyone else was like, because you can't really see. But my mask was soaked on the airplane, so it's okay. I could have asked for another mask, but whatever. So I thought about this. Oh my God. And I started crying. And I put it on Twitter. I said, because I really mean it. And by the way it works with me is I don't say things unless I 100% mean them. I'm not a bullshit artist. I will never say something to someone, I'm going to start crying, that I don't mean from the heart. And that's part of who I am. And there's not a lot of people like that, quite honestly. I spoke with someone last night that she did some FBI course that said that 60%, when you meet someone for the first time, 60% of, oh my God, I'm going to start crying. 60%, she said, when you meet someone, this is the FBI. This comes from the FBI. I don't know why she took an FBI course. When you meet someone for the first time, 60% of what they tell you is over embellished. Or a lie. Meaning, don't trust everyone. 60%. But the thing of it is, guys, is like, when you meet me, 100% is the truth. Every single thing that comes out of my mouth when I say something to you is 100% God's honest truth, because that has a lot to do with who I am as a person, my character, my morals, my values, and my credibility and my reputation. And it's really not about the credibility and reputation. It's just who I am. But it turns into credibility and reputation. And that's why whatever I do, I pretty much turns to gold, because people trust me. I'm a very trustworthy person because I follow through on everything. It's just who I am, and I'm not going to lie about it. So I'm not in the 60%. I'm in the 40%. Like whatever I say, I say. So what was I saying? Forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, I can't remember my train of thought. Oh, so yeah. So whatever I say to someone is the God's honest truth. I'm not lying. Everything I post, everything is the truth. There's no like embellishment. And if I say how I feel about you, it's honest. It's not fake. And there's no manipulation. I'm not trying to like sway you one way or the other. That's why investing in me and partnering with me and being my friend, and it's you're lucky because you've got a reliable person in your life. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. And I think that's going to take me far. It has taken me far thus far. And we need to be proud of ourselves. And I'm very proud of myself. And sometimes people like us have to stand alone because there's not a lot of honest people in the world. And I want to believe that there are. And I do want to sign up with people who are trustworthy and caring and loving and honest and I do. And that's, getting back to my husband is the husband comment. That's why one of the reasons why I married him, because of reliability and trust, and I can count on him. He follows through even now. But there were other reasons, of it not working out. He just didn't support my career and what I wanted to do with my, and being a businesswoman. And that's fine. That's, he eventually found out that at least with me, we weren't compatible. But I know he supports my career and I know he knows I'm working hard. Anyway, I tweeted this and I believe, and it didn't happen. I can't believe it happened. I didn't know it was going to happen, but it happened after this vacation. I'm going to start crying. I forgive my husband, my former husband. I forgive him. And I know he's a good dad. He's an amazing father. He's really an amazing father. And you know what's funny? When I met him as friends in business school, I told him, you're going to be a great dad. That's probably another reason why I married him, because he's reliable, he's credible, he's trustworthy, and he's going to be a great dad. I mean, how those are great characters. So I tweeted this. I said, I forgive my former husband. I forgive him for what happened. And it took a lot for me of healing for me to get to this place. And this has a lot to do with this. This has a lot to do with being healed and being open to love. I'm start crying. And being healed and open to love, knowing your boundaries, being able to set boundaries, and making sure that whomever you're signing up with, they are also coming to the table being willing to be vulnerable and honest with you, and not wanting you in their life to feed their ego or fill a void for them and putting them on this pedestal. I mean, you want to support them, but they need to support you. It's a two-way street. And I've learned this through different relationships I've been in. And it takes a long time to get to this place. I hope that everybody gets to this place. But tomorrow, thank you for listening on True North. I'm looking at some tweets coming in. But tomorrow, this is what I want to talk about. I've been thinking about this a lot. I think about myself. I'm thinking about my past, and this is important for me, for women. So guys, you can watch this, the men on here, if you want. You don't have to. I think you should. I think it'd be great for men to listen to this. But the topic is women and sexiness. Women and sexiness. Women and sexiness. And how we as women, many of us, repress our sexiness. When I say sexiness, like our beautiful bodies, our beauty, our curves, our everything that's gorgeous about us, because men don't take us seriously. Something in their brain is, I don't know what happens. They just look at us as sex objects and not with intellect. they look at us as to fill sexual needs and not intellectual stimulation. They look at us in a more of a that we're like, so, you know, like that we're not, that they're equals, because something with our beauty trigger makes their brains, I don't know, blow up. Not all men, most men. And I like to find the men that are like, wow, look at her, professional, beautiful, intelligent, my equal partner. I respect her. She inspires me. I'm motivated to be in her presence. Those are the men that we need to surround ourselves with. But I have here written down, women and sexiness is the topic for tomorrow. I have class, sophistication, character, leadership, values, and respect. I'm going to repeat that again. The title for tomorrow is Women and Sexiness. We are going to talk about class, sophistication, character, leadership, values, and respect. So I hope you tune in tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central. Hopefully I'll do this. We're going to do cards. I've got these amazing cards that I love doing. Let's see let's see what happens. And by the way, as we were speaking about love today, this is a mug that my sister got me. Hold on. It says love on it. See, it says love. You see, it says love. So my sister, a couple years ago, I have two younger sisters. My middle sister had 4 kids under the age of 12, I think. I think it's 12. And she's a badass. She's a triathlete. She's a Booth MBA, merit scholar like I am. She's works for a startup. She's amazing. Her husband's amazing. He's an ER. They're amazing. They're an amazing couple. They're an amazing family. It's awesome. And she does a lot for the kids. But anyway, because I live in Chicago and she lives in Connecticut, and we're all everywhere. My other sister lives outside of Aspen. We're everywhere. My parents are in Boston. Like, we're spread. The Merino girls are everywhere. It's hard because we don't get to see each other often. But for one Christmas, she gave us plates with all her kids' faces on it. See, this says family. Plates with all her kids' faces on it. Cups with all mugs and coasters. So she's like, well, you won't forget us and you'll see us every day. So my kids and my kids will be like, do I need to eat off of, Manolo's face? But so I use this mug. So because we were talking about love today, it says here, we love you, Tia Renata. It's so cute. And it says joy and happiness. So I love it. I love that we have these because I miss my sister. I love my sisters. They're amazing, amazing girls, amazing women. All right, let's do this. Ready? I got to get my glasses. I'll do it later. What's the funniest joke you know? I mean, I like sarcasm. Oh, I said this the other day on a podcast. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I don't really know a joke. I just love, I miss laughing. I miss laughing a lot. I want to laugh. And I think speaking of love, whoever is in my life, whoever comes into my life, I can't be so serious. I mean, I have to laugh. I love laughing. I love making fun of people. I love making fun of myself. I love when the other person makes fun of themselves. And it's got to be lighthearted for me because it's fun. When it's too serious, it just gets boring. I want to laugh. I want to laugh a lot. I want to travel. I want to laugh. I can't wait. I'm really excited for what's to come in my life. If you had 3 minutes, what one question would you ask Sigmund Freud? What's the secret of life? What's the secret of life? I think it's to love and to be love and to show love. I'm gonna start crying. Let me tell you something, guys. No matter how hard it gets for me, I will always show love. I may have weekdays, and I'm grateful for the champions in my life who've been there for me when I need it the most. Strangers who've given me their time to listen. Friends. I talked to a couple of Blazing Babes yesterday who are also have turned into really good friends, and just they're my rocks. I'm gonna start crying. So thank you, ladies. And that's why I'm community, and that's why I am the CEO of a female founder community that supports each other. when we go through these challenging times. But even if I get bricks and arrows thrown at me, it's okay because I'm still going to give love out. I may have weak days, but it's okay. I can handle it now because I'm bulletproof. Bulletproof. What are your top 5 best moments in life? Oh my God. First one, when I became president of my high school, the entire high school. I thought it was a popularity contest. Like, it's like being famous on Instagram or having all these followers. Like, thinking that that's fame and fortune and leadership. That's what it was. That's what I thought in my head. That's what I thought winning the presidency of student government of the entire high school. But what I did was I saw a need. I saw a community that was falling apart, a school that didn't have any spirit. It was people were disgruntled. I saw a need that wasn't being met. And I was so proud of, what was that? No, it was senior year, junior to senior year. I'd been at the same school, Sacred Heart School in Newton, Mass, Newton Country Day, from 7th grade all the way through. And I saw kind of like the spirit of school go down, and I wanted to do something about it. So I was driven by the cause. I wasn't driven by the fame. There's a big difference in that, guys. There's a big difference in that. So I asked a fellow Latina, Yasmina Alvarenga. I don't know if she watches me. Hopefully she does. She said something to me on Facebook or something. Hey, do you want to run for office? She's like, really? We're never going to win. I'm like, let's just do it. Whatever. Let's just throw our hats in the ring. And we won. And we won landslide. It was a landslide. A lot of changes happened that following year. We did a lot of things. We did a lot of things with some people. We did a survey. We asked all the students in the entire school. And I remember the day, actually, this is really important. I want everyone to hear this. I remember the day I was talking to some underclassmen. So I was captain of my soccer team. Like, I was a leader on the field in sports. So a lot of the underclassmen looked up to me. And this is the thing, was you're a leader, your actions are actually the way you're a role model. It's not the fake stuff. It's actually, how do you act? How do you treat other people? Do you treat others with respect and kindness? And I remember talking to some of the freshmen, and those are the people that are voting for me, the freshmen, and I was like, all so-and-so is running. They're so popular. They're from a lot of money. They go to all the parties. They're drinking. They're dating all the hot guys in the schools. I'm never going to win. And I remember the underclassmen saying to me, a few of them from the soccer team and from others, they're like, Renata, are you kidding? You're the most popular person in the entire school. Popularity is about who you are and your credibility. And look at you. You're a student athlete. You look, clean record. That's popularity, guys. It's not all the followers. It's not that. It's not that. It's who are you? What are your values, your character? That was one moment. The other ones, getting into Bowdoin. I was on the wait list. I got into Bowdoin College. It was like my top choice. When I became a mom, I went through fertility. I went through a lot of drugs, a lot of my former husband stabbing me with needles, a lot of fertility, a lot of getting up and sitting outside at the Fertility Center of Illinois, downtown Chicago, driving all the way there at 7 a.m. for them to monitor my ovaries. I start crying. Oh, sorry. Right before work, guys, right before I had to get to the office by 9, and I was driving from downtown Chicago. So the Fertility Center of Illinois is downtown Chicago. And it's actually next to the David Barton Gym. Their slogan is look good naked. Sorry, I had to say that. Thank you, David Barton. And I had to I had the ultrasound to monitor my follicles to see if there were ovaries inside, and how all the drugs I was taking was so that my follicles would get big enough so that there would be my ovaries would be big, and my emotions were obviously today were all over the place, and I was fat, and I wasn't even pregnant, and I was chubby and acne, and I was so ugly, and I felt like a machine. I'm sorry. And like an incubator, like not even a human being. And it was just really hard on our relationship because trying to get pregnant, and I had to go to work and lead a global P&L team for in new product development and design thinking, leading all these like engineers. I had to drive from downtown Chicago all the way to Lincolnshire, which is probably in traffic a good hour and a half every day, guys. And obviously I wasn't getting the once a month I was getting the monitoring of my follicles. I think I had to do it for a couple days in a row. But I'm just letting you guys know, I was sitting outside of the room. I'm sorry. This is just, I haven't thought about this in years. And I was sitting with all these other women that were going through the same thing. And we were talking about how hard it is and working at the same time and what our bodies have to go through. And so now I'm an investor and in health and wellness, and I want to invest in any kind of platform that helps women with these issues, with support, with guidance, with community in the tech space, because I've experienced this pain point, and I've talked to so many women who've gone through this. Sorry, I'm very emotional about this. I did not think this was going to come up. But becoming a mother for the first time was one of the best moments of my life. Getting into the Chicago Business School with a partial scholarship was one of the best moments because I applied 2 years in a row. I didn't get in the first year. I was waitlisted and then rejected. I was rejected. The first year I applied to business school, I was 26. After working for 4 years in investment banking, I only applied to the top 5 schools. I got rejected everywhere. So Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, University of Chicago, Tuck. I don't know, how many was that? No safety schools, no target schools, all reaches. I got rejected everywhere. I got waitlisted at Booth and then rejected. And I had to leave my bank because it's an up or out situation where you don't get promoted. All the partners knew I didn't get in, and all the other guys, the other analysts got in. And so it was a blessing in disguise. And I was really miserable at that time in my life. I did a lot of introspection again on the beach. And I ended up getting a job at Reebok when they were firing everyone or laying off everyone. And I got in working for the CEO on a tech project, and that was 99. So tech wasn't even known as tech back then. It was known as .com. And because of my resilience and because of my strength and belief in myself and my networking abilities, I was able to get into Reebok and get some great exposure. That was the first year they sponsored the Survivor show, which was awesome. I met the whole freaking team. I met whatever his name is. Was it Barnett? What's his last name? It was awesome. It was awesome. I had all this stuff, all this like gear that was like Survivor. And I remember and then I reapplied to business school, and I actually got in with full ride scholarships and some other like second tier schools, but I ended up getting into Booth with partial scholarship, and obviously it's the -- business school, and I went to Booth. So at the end of the day, it was better for me, and also I got some great exposure to tech, which I wouldn't have had if that didn't happen. So at the end of the day, like when we have these troubles, brighter things always happen for us. We just have to believe. But that was one of the best moments. I think it took a long time to answer that question, and I cried a lot. Sorry. You guys see me cry publicly. What do you fear you'll be most disappointed by when you're older? That I didn't live my dream and that I settled. I can't settle. I can't settle relationships. I can't settle my career. I have to believe. And that I didn't do enough. Oh my God, that I didn't do enough for other women. And the other thing is, that I compromised too much, and that I didn't believe that I deserve the best. Because right now I do believe I deserve the best, the best. And when I say the best, I'm talking about kindness and love from other people. I'm talking about living a great life. I deserve the best because of what I give. And we need to get to a place where we believe that. And if people aren't making us feel that way, we can't be with those people. You cannot be with those people, and you can't accept crumbs, and you can't accept bad behavior from other people because they make you feel really bad. We need to surround ourselves with people that love us for us and that make us feel alive. So what do you fear you'll be most disappointed by when you're older? That I compromised too much and that I didn't live my dream. And I didn't have enough impact, that I could have had more impact on the world and to help more women. Okay, this is a long one. If you could ask anyone for help cleaning your room, who would you ask? I mean, I need to have a cleaning lady. I hate cleaning. We had to clean growing up, by the way. My mom made us clean. Saturdays, I'm telling you, my childhood was tough love. Saturdays, my mom made a list down. She's like, nobody's leaving the house until you guys sign up next to the toilets, the living room. We couldn't leave the house. So I know how to clean. Don't tell anyone this. Obviously, it's public now, but I don't want to clean. It's funny. This is the way I look at it. I had to beg for a cleaning lady, by the way, in my marriage, at the beginning of marriage, because whatever. I don't even want to go down that. It's the past. But and during COVID, we all did. I mean, I cleaned myself because I didn't want exposure to my kids, so thank God I knew. But yeah, I want a cleaning lady. I don't even like that subject. What would you like to happen after taking a magic pill? Oh, stop crying. Stop crying. I want the sadness to go away. All gone. Just happiness. What would you like to happen after taking magic pill? Okay. All right, this is the girl power one. I need to get my glasses. All right, this is it, guys. I hope you like this one. You like seeing me cry? That was hard. Nobody knows. I actually don't talk about that a lot. I probably will. It will be in my book. My journey through fertility will be in my book. And there's different levels. Women go through different levels of fertility. We all have our different. But I will talk about it. It was really hard for me. I don't talk about it a lot. Some people don't even know this. And by the way, I wasn't like 50 getting pregnant. I was, it was, and this is an issue with a lot of women. I was, let's see, what time did I get married? I got married at age 31, and I was 33, 34 when I was going through this. Yeah, around 33, 34. And you don't know. The other thing is you spend your whole life trying not to get pregnant. And then all of a sudden you want to like turn on the switch to get pregnant. And your body is like, no. And I remember I had this one treatment. Let me just talk about this. It's called, I remember the comment my mom made. Oh my God. It's called, I don't know what it's called, but they basically inject dye into your fallopian tubes. Let me tell you something about that. That's very painful. And what they can do, they put a big machine over it and they can see like they are able to see your fallopian tubes, because when you get pregnant, the egg travels from one area to the next and it gets fertilized, right? I know this because I study this, trust me. When you go through this, you know everything. But if your fallopian tubes are blocked for whatever reason, the egg is not going to get to where it needs to go to. So apparently one of my fallopian tubes, there's two, thankfully there's two, was completely blocked. So I was only ovulating on one side. And I think you can ovulate. I don't know the cadence of it, but that's why I needed the drugs to stimulate the ovulation. But, but yeah, I had to go through that. So bottom line is I will talk a little bit more about my fertility issues, but a lot of women who are at that age, 30s, it's usually 20s, mid to late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s. I mean, you could still get pregnant in your 40s for sure. My sister did. I think she was, she's how old is she? She's like in her mid 40s, and she has is she a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old? Yeah, you can still get pregnant in your 40s, even later 40s. But some of them, they're talking about freezing their eggs and like the cost of freezing their eggs and how expensive it is. And, because your eggs are better quality when you're younger. And, as you get older, they're not as good. And they have tests now, medical tests, to actually, when you ovulate, to see the quality of the egg. So and especially when older women, didn't J-Lo, she had babies later or whatever. But even people now, you can extract the egg. I know this. I've studied this. You can extract the egg and see the quality of it, and then you can get pregnant with a good quality egg. By the way, men, your sperm, if you drink and you do all this drugs, your sperm is shitty quality. Trust me on this. And by the way, if it's shitty quality sperm or eggs, I know this, guys. You can have major deformities and issues with your kid, the baby. I know this. I studied this. That's why I want to invest in this, because I know I've been through it. I've studied it. I know it. I've talked to other women about it. It's just huge. It's a huge area. Femtech. Okay. Oh, look, is the girl power one. Then I'm going to end. Amy Poehler. She's hilarious. She co-founded Amy Poehler's Smart Girls, a positive online and offline community that provides young women with the encouragement and resources to help them be their authentic selves. Smart Girls provides a healthy alternative to the negative messaging being marketed to young people online. Let me just say something about online social media, and I've said this before, I've said this on Twitter, and if you've seen the social dilemma, the documentary, people post stuff online, and it's, especially for girls, like bodies that are completely altered because of the filters, and butt implants or skinny. They make their waist smaller, their arms smaller, and you're like, oh, she has a really good body. She's so skinny. And it's because it's been altered. So these young girls are looking at this, aspiring, like my body's so ugly, I'm so fat, or I'm so this, or I don't have big enough boobs, or my butt's not big enough, and so they get plastic surgery to look like this. I'm telling you right now. Or people post stuff that it's like it makes them look like they have a perfect family or a perfect life, and behind the scenes, it's just a nightmare. It's not the truth. So there's a lot of mental health with young girls, and I just have an issue with it. And for some reason, I want to be able to invest in some kind of technology that audits. There's something that you can put on the social media that's saying this is a filter, like a little icon that actually shows the world that this is not the real body. It's got to be automatic. So when a filter is used, it's a thing on the photo that's like a mark. So people know that's not her real body, or it's not the real lighting, or whatever it is. How much does social media affect your day-to-day life? I mean, honestly, I said this to somebody. I need to stay off it. I mean, it's self-discipline, because it feeds. This might be another, I'm going to write this down. So social media, whatever you input into your brain, and like that you read, anything that you read, any interactions you have every day, all day, it affects your mental health. What goes on in your thoughts? Okay, your thought. When I say mental health, I'm talking about your thoughts. Your thoughts. Let's just say your thoughts. It's not mental health. Anything you intake affects your thoughts. Your thoughts affect your emotions. Your emotions affect your behavior, and your behavior affects your life. So whatever you allow in every minute of the day impacts your future life. So that's why self-discipline, that's why in social media, someone just said this to me, social media, any form of social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even the news, media, the way they set up, it's very strategic. The way they set up their platforms is to enhance addiction. So we are drawn to check up on people, because we're bored. We're like, okay, I want to take a break from my emails, so I'm going to go on my phone. And now, half of it's great because you want to stay on top of people and stop at things, but the problem is you get swayed into some of the negative stuff, and it affects your feelings and your emotions, and then your behavior alters, and then you're just like, you waste the whole freaking day. So what do we do? What can we do? I should take a class on this, or maybe some kind of investment tool that can help you with the me or people with the self-discipline on limiting content, only having certain content come into your life because it affects your personal growth and your success and how happy you are in your life. So one of the things I'm working on is a limited exposure and to things I don't want to see, things that are negatively impacting my life and hindering me from being successful and happy. So I have to limit content that comes in. I hope that helps. Happy Wednesday. This was a long one, but I loved it. And I hope to do this every day and hopefully to be on stage and do this publicly in front of thousands of people to help them overcome adversity and pursue their purpose. I love you guys. Thanks for listening in. Oh, before I leave, I want to just also promote this book. Everyone knows I'm all about girl power and women empowerment, and I want to be a role model for young girls as part of my legacy and part of the stickiness. I call it the stickiness of what I want to leave behind. Not that I'm leaving the earth, but I want to make sure that whatever I do every day is I act like a role model. I am a role model, and every single minute of my day supports women and young girls. But I want to do a shout out to, I think I did this before, but this book is amazing. And this is, I'm actually going to read this as part of my mental health today, because I need this. I need this today. But this is great for us as older women, but this is great for, and if you're a father and you have a little girl, I really highly suggest that you buy this book for her and for bedtime stories. It's called Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. Two authors that tried to get funding for this book, but they couldn't. They were getting a lot of no's, and they're, I think they're Finnish or they're from Europe. Elena Favilli, oh, maybe they're Italian. I can't remember. Sorry, ladies. Elena Favilli and Francesca Cavallo, and maybe they're Italian. But they couldn't get funding, so they got funding from Kickstarter, which I love their story. It's amazing. By the way, there's a YouTube video with them. It's so awesome, promoting this book, and it's a video. It's like one of those videos that start off slow and then it goes fast and then it gets slow. But it's a mother and a daughter. There's a huge bookshelf and it's full of books, and you got to look at this. You got to Google this. And it basically, it's these authors creating this video with all these storybooks from, Sleeping Beauty, all the Disney movie, all the Disney books, like all the stories, the tales of princesses, of saving princesses, and they said, what storybooks are there out there that they're like, this was eye-opening for us. This is why they did this. This was eye-opening for us. What storybooks are out there where little girls are saving themselves and not relying on the prince to save them? So you see this full bookshelf, and then the mother and the little girl, and they're pulling out, throwing them on the floor, all the books. It's a full shelf. It's like shelves, huge. It's not small, it's huge. It's floor to ceiling. And they're pulling all the books out where the prince was rescuing the princess. She's a damsel in distress. and they're throwing them on the floor. By the end, and it speeds up, you know how it speeds up and then it slows down. By the end, there's like, all the books are falling over. There's like maybe 10. That's why they came up with this book. It's unbelievable. So what it is I'm going to end on this. Look at the artwork. They have beautiful artwork of women from all around the world. These are women that some of us don't even know about. Some of them are famous women that everyone knows about. Some of them are like, who is this person? I think there's one, I think I read it the other day. I mean, Jane Goodall's in here. I mean, look at Jane Goodall. Look at the art, Pete. Look at the art. So there's an artist and her quote, only if we understand will we care. Only if we care, we will help. Only if we help, shall all be saved. Jane Goodall. Look at the art. Okay. And then the story. This is why I want to do my girl power coloring book. Yeah. You guys, whoever, I'm sure someone's hearing this and they're going to copy me. Go for it. Mine's going to be better. Isabella Allende. Hillary Clinton's in here. Helen Keller's in here. Harriet Tubman's in here. Grace O'Malley. Frida. Oh my God. I have her I have like a little shrine of her. She's a badass. She's like, fuck you, everyone. Sorry. I swore. I'm allowed to swear maybe once every week. All right. Wait, there's one on here that I think I read. Wait, can I find it? Shoot, guys. Damn. Oh, here it is. Can I read this? I got to read this before I leave. It's 10:30. This is a pirate. It's a female pirate. I don't know her, but she's a pirate. My daughter, my kids love this. I'm going to read it. Her name is Jaquette de la Haye or whatever. Her quote is, I couldn't love a man who commands me any more than I could love one who lets himself be commanded by me. Let me read the story. Once upon a time in Haiti, there was a girl with hair as red as fire. Her name was Jaquette. Jaquette's mother died while giving birth to her little brother. Their father died not long after, and Jaquette had to find a way to provide for herself and her brother. So she decided to become a pirate. Jaquette led a gang of hundreds of pirates. Together while at sea, they ate smoked meat, played games, pressed gunpowder in cannons, and robbed Spanish ships. She even had a secret island where she and her pirates lived. Jaquette had many enemies. Both the government and rival buccaneers were after her. In order to escape, she decided to fake her own death and go into hiding. She gave herself a new name and dressed as a man. But her deception didn't last long. No one else had such flaming red hair. She soon returned to piracy and earned the nickname Back from the Dead Red. Jaquette had a girlfriend who was a pirate too. Her name was Anne de Villiers, and she was married and she had 2 children. After her husband died during a fight, she took command of their ship and joined forces with Jaquette. They were 2 of the most feared pirates of the Caribbean. Their stories became legends that both female and male pirates told each other as they lay in their hammocks beneath the stars, rocked by the waves, dreaming of the adventures that awaited them at dawn. Guys, buy this book. Shout out to these authors. Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. It's unbelievable. I read it for myself. I read it to my kids. There's one for boys, I think, as well, that talks about vulnerability and emotions. It's amazing. These authors are amazing. And the fact that they were so driven by their cause and couldn't get funding, and got funding through Kickstarter. If there's a will and you're passionate about it, there's a way. Anyway, guys, long session today, but I love talking. Have a great day, and please subscribe to my channel, and you can hear some more amazing stories and journeys and of how to overcome adversity and live our purpose. Later, guys. See ya.